You're probably wondering, what's with the shades? Well, the number one reason is not because I want to look cool, but I got a sty in my eye, and so I've been dealing with that for the past couple days. First day, very painful, and now it's kind of more annoying because the swelling's gone down, but I can still feel the bump, and so it's kind of really irritating. So hopefully it goes away pretty soon. But let's talk about something more positively. And I'm going to do something I have not done in quite a while, and that is a contest entry. And this is for the YouTube channel Jacob Martin. Now, if you don't know who Jacob Martin is, he is another fellow YouTuber I've known, and I've collaborated on a couple occasions. And recently, he just passed 900 subscribers. And of course, that's a pretty big occasion. He's just less than 100 away to 1,000, which is huge for any channel. So to celebrate, he's doing a contest. Now, Jacob mainly does movies, but recently he's doing more music. And so for this contest, it's definitely more music themed. And of course, as a music channel, perfect. And so another reason why I'm doing it is because, of course, last year I did a contest and Jacob was one of the people who entered. And so I'm kind of returning the favor. So what we basically have to do is to make a playlist. Again, kind of similar to what I did before, but a little bit different. This playlist has to kind of tell, I guess, your musical journey, I guess. Hopefully I'm explaining it correctly, but basically take songs that have played big roles in your life, and then kind of put it together. And that's pretty much it. And I've seen a couple of people enter already, and a lot of them are just basically listing some songs, and that's pretty cool. But I'm doing mine a little bit differently. I'm going to be taking these songs, and I'm actually going to try and tell my life story, in a sense. So it is telling a story, but it's going to be songs that represent certain aspects of my life. These aren't necessarily my favorite songs of all time, but I just think they fit fairly well. And so hopefully this does pretty well. Let me just clarify. I actually have two versions of this playlist. There's the YouTube version, which is, to me, the definitive version. I'll explain in a bit. And there's also the Spotify version. Again, I'll explain why in a sec, but let's go ahead, let's get started. So the first song I'm going to be, I'll start this playlist is by Prince, and that of course is 1999, of course the title track, and specifically the single version. The album version is a bit longer, and the album version has a very abrupt cut because it goes right into the next song. And you know, with the single version, you don't get that, and so you have a much smoother transition. And so I did that for both the YouTube playlist and the Spotify playlist. So again, it's 1999. That's the year I was born, and it's just this fun, very funky driven track. And so I think it's a nice opening song. So I'm going to be skipping into my high school years because there wasn't really a song that showcases my childhood. So I'm going straight to the high school years. And so the next song on the playlist is Subdivisions by Rush. This is my favorite Rush song, but I think it perfectly sums up how high school was. You know, I was kind of an outcast. You know, I didn't have that many friends growing up. I was kind of mainly by myself, and so all the cool kids were doing their thing, and I was just kind of left with my own devices. And so, yeah, and I know Neil Peart felt the same way growing up. So nice that he wrote that. And following that, kind of sticking to the same idea, we have Life on Mars by David Bowie. Again, the lyrics are a bit more abstract, but when you know the real meaning, it makes a whole lot of sense about this character who goes to the movie theater and is watching this film that has just a bunch of nonsense. And so this person's like, I'd rather go to Mars than be on Earth. And again, kind of fitting more of that alienation theme, and also kind of seeing pop culture and just kind of being very cynical of it. And so, yeah, another great one there. And now we get some more hard rock. Next up, we have Alice Cooper, I'm 18. And yeah, this is probably perfect because I think I graduated, well, I think I graduated when I was 19, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But regardless, just the lyrics to it just kind of showcases what most 18-year-olds are going through, because once you graduate, now you have to think about what you want to do afterward. And so you're kind of left in this crossroad and you have no idea where to go. And yeah, Alice Cooper paints it very well. And then we go to Boston with Peace of Mind, sorry. And this song, again, another very fun rock song here, and Brad Delp sounds great, but again, lyrically it's about trying to find your own place around this whole chaos that is life and the world, trying to stay true to yourself, that sort of thing. So that's why I chose that. And now we get to the big difference between the YouTube version and the Spotify version, is because the reason why the YouTube is the definitive version is because it actually has this artist. Spotify does not, and that is Joni Mitchell. And I actually chose two songs. You can kind of classify them as one song because they kind of are intertwined together, but it's off the Corn Spark album, and the two songs are People's Parties and Same Situation. Again, we're kind of skipping a little bit further because we're getting to the point where I briefly got a job for this production company, and I was editing and doing some videography. And you know, part of the job is going to different parties and just kind of getting footage and photos of it. And People's Parties simplifies it because I am not a party goer, and I'm just watching a lot of these people do things I wouldn't normally do, and I feel out of place. And so that's kind of why I wanted this song in the playlist. And then going to Same Situations, the next track. Even though it's mainly written in the perspective of a woman, I think it's fine because it kind of sings about insecurity, you know, about anything, fashion, sex appeal, that whole thing. Because, you know, how many men do you know have written songs about male insecurity? Not many, because most of them are kind of writing about how awesome they are. At least in the rock field, that is. But I really enjoy how Joni's takes on it. I think even if it's mainly in the perspective of a woman, I think the overall theme is pretty universal about feeling insecure about things. So again, I want it in the playlist. So again, if you want the true version of this entry, go to the YouTube version. The Spotify version won't have it. And keeping on the theme of working at this production company, and yeah, I mean, I had to deal with many people, both people like complaining, again, just real jerks basically, and that's going to be represented by the song "I Me Mine" by the Beatles, off Let It Be. Again, George Harrison was going through kind of a similar thing with John and Paul, and yeah, just hearing all these back and forth things, and you're just trying to get by. So there we go. Up next, you know, let me just say something real quick. At this production company, I don't have any ill will towards any of the people I work with. For most part, we got along pretty well. And again, the big issue why I left was because I wasn't taking care of myself, really. I was kind of going back to the insecurities. You know, I wasn't taking care of myself. I was kind of overworking myself to the point, to my breaking point, basically. And the song kind of paints the picture. But we have Just Another Nervous Wreck by Supertramp. Just the opening line, let me just pull it up real quick because I think the opening line just sums it up perfectly. I'm feeling so alone now. They cut the telephone. My life is just a mess. I threw it all away now. I could have made a fortune. I lost the craving for success. Yeah, just paints one of my low points in my life currently. But there we go. And so by that point, I decided to just this is not for me, I want to quit. And that's going to be represented with the song Say Goodbye to Hollywood by Billy Joel. Again, Billy Joel leaving Hollywood to go back to New York, and I'm going back to my quiet life. And so there we go, pretty self-explanatory. But you know, there was that feeling of like I could have, if I had stayed, I could have done something good with, if I took that route. And so I just felt like I was going on my own again, kind of back to square one. And so to represent that feeling, we have Whitesnake with Here I Go Again. Again, probably the most, out of all the songs I've mentioned, this is probably the biggest outlier because it definitely has a more hard rock sound to it, bit more heavier than all the other songs. But again, I think the overall message kind of fits, honestly. And that's surprising, knowing Whitesnake isn't known for their lyrics. But I don't know, I kind of resonated with the lyrics of the song. You know, I don't know where I'm going, but I sure know where I've been. That's the whole thing. So there we go. And then, again, still in that little mini depressive phase, I decided I was kind of like, I knew there was a part of me that was still creative. I knew I wanted to keep making videos, but I knew after working that job, it was kind of like I wasn't sure. But there's that creativity that's still inside me, and to represent that, we have The Boxer by Simon and Garfunkel. I just pretty much sums it up because, you know, there's that really great line. I'm gonna read that part as well. Let me just pull it up real quick. Shouldn't take me too long. Let's see. In the clearing stands a boxer and a fighter by his trade, and he carries the reminders of every glove that laid him down or cut him till he cried out in his anger and his shame, I am leaving, but the fighter still remains. Again, even after all of that time, I was kind of, I don't know, I was kind of like, I nearly moved away from making videos. But there's that part of me that still wanted to make wanted to get creative. And so, lo and behold, I decided, you know, the show must go on. And of course, that leads us into the next song. The show must go on. You know, it's my favorite Queen song. I had to get a Queen song in here. And of course, this song has been one of the mainstay in my life. You know, despite everything not always going how I want. You know, life is a show, so might as well try and keep going. And lo and behold, I made this channel. And of course, this channel is all about music, and music was the big thing that got me through a lot of this stuff. And so to kind of represent that, to kind of close this album, because this is the last song already, I'm going to go to one of the albums from my Doobie Brothers original album series, 5 in 1. We're going to go to this album, and to give us a nice uplifting closer, we have Listen to the Music. Again, just a nice upbeat song to kind of bring this album or playlist to a very uplifting note. And there you have it. That is my entry for Jacob Martin's 900 subscriber contest. So to Jacob, thank you so much for doing this. This was a lot of fun putting together. I do like making playlists a lot, so another excuse to do more of these. So hopefully you get to 1,000 subscribers. If you have not subscribed to Jacob's channel, please go ahead and subscribe to his channel. Link to that in the description. He's currently doing 2 series. He's doing Creedence Clearwater Revival and the Beatles with other guests that I've talked about before. You know who you people are. But besides that, hopefully you enjoy this, and I'll see you in the next video. Hopefully when my eye's better. So take care and goodbye for now.